Australians rallied around the country to fight for a landmark Indigenous rights reform that is bleeding support in the polls before an October 14 referendum. Tens of thousands joined Walk for Yes events in major cities ahead of the vote that could grant Indigenous Australians a constitutionally enshrined right to be consulted on policies that affect them, a so-called voice. More than 200 years since British colonisation, Indigenous people, whose ancestors have lived on the continent for about 60,000 years, have shorter lives than other Australians, poorer education and are far more likely to die in police custody. In Melbourne, more than 10,000 supporters marched through the streets, some with banners reading, "You're the voice, vote yes." Thousands more gathered in Canberra, Perth, Brisbane, Darwin, Hobart and Alice Springs. But the Vote Yes campaign, launched just weeks ago by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, faces an uphill battle. Recent surveys show about 60% against the reform versus 40% in support, a near reversal of the situation a year ago. To pass, the referendum needs majority support across Australia but also a majority in at least 4 of the 6 states. Voting is compulsory, with non-voters who don't have a valid reason liable to a fine of $20. Opponents of the reform, including the Conservative opposition, say it would confer special privileges on Indigenous peoples while adding an unnecessary layer of bureaucracy.